Hey everyone, we're going to learn how to run a Koinos mining node today. This is going to be a more in-depth guide. The first thing we're going to do is go to the GitHub for Koinos and then go to the first pinned repo. And over here we can click on code and then download the zip file for this. And here we have Koinos master, downloaded it. Now we want to drag this into a directory that's easiest for us to manipulate. So I'm going to choose to put this directly into my C drive. So I'm going to go here in C drive and notice how there's no Koinos folders in here. I'm going to drag this or extract it, however you like, right into my C drive, close this file up, and then go into the Koinos master and then click on the .env file. And what I'm doing is I'm pointing directory, the base directory in which all of my Koinos node files are going to be located. You don't have to do this on Linux or on Mac. It's a Windows specific item only. So for me, I'm going to choose to put this into my C drive into the Koinos folder. Now notice that the C Koinos folder is different from the C Koinos-master folder. I don't have a Koinos folder in here right now, but when I run the actual node software, it will create the folder and then it'll populate it with all the files it needs to actually run the node. So I'll go ahead and save this guy, close it out. After we change our base directory, we're going to fire up the node now. What we're going to do is fire up PowerShell. Now you're going to need Docker Desktop in order for this to work. I'm going to link below to one of Koinos' early testnet version 2 videos on how to install Docker Desktop. It's a simple download and run executable file. Make sure you check WSL2. Assume that you've already installed Docker. All you have to do now is run PowerShell and then use the cd command for change directory into your C Koinos master directory. And then in the directory, there is a Docker compose file, which we can see by typing ls. This is basically a command line representation of the Windows GUI files. To run a node that only keeps up with the blockchain but doesn't produce blocks, all you would have to do is type in Docker compose up. But the purpose of this video is to show you how to run a mining node, and we have to run a couple extra microservices. So those profiles that we want to run are all. So we type in -- profile all up. And what you're going to see here is that if I run Docker Desktop, the moment I press enter on the PowerShell, you'll notice that a container gets built up and we begin downloading the files to create the node, and then we start syncing up with the blockchain. So I'll press enter on this side on the left and you'll notice the containers pop up. All right, building config files, loading it all up. And you can see Koinos master here, 3, 5, 6, 7. In total, there should be, I think, 10 containers. 9 of which are running. One of them is a config file. We can go in here and you can see them all running. And if I maximize this, you'll see that we are beginning to sync with the blockchain. And we're now requesting certain blocks, block number 339 to 1300, and we're just applying the blocks. So as we're watching this, we have to get an understanding of how long it would take to actually sync up our node. So the way we do that is we go to Koinos Explorer. And this Explorer is very similar to Etherscan, where we can see some information about the blockchain. Currently the head block is number 286315, but we're only now syncing up to roughly 2000. So we got a little bit to go. I'm going to pause this video here and we'll edit back in when we're finally synced up. While the node is syncing, we have to make one more adjustment that's specific to version 4 of the testnet. We have to go back into the .env file and we have to delete out the chain tag version 4. You won't need to do this on mainnet. This is a version 4 testnet modification only. So while our node is syncing, we want to register the mining node with the wallet that contains the coin that we're going to burn. That's going to require us to use the Koinos CLI, which I've made a video on how to use before. Let's fire up the Koinos CLI. And just like in my other video, what we'll do is connect https api.koinos.io. And then we're going to open up my test wallet that I created earlier. And it's called test wallet. And it's going to have the password. And now it's opened. Balance. I should have 90 tokens in there. All right, great. Now, what I have to do is register the smart contract that contains the proof of burn algorithm and also register the smart contract that contains the VHP fungible token. To do that, we simply have to type in a few commands here. It's register VHP with this smart contract address and register POB with this smart contract address. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this guy and I'm going to paste it into my Koinos CLI wallet. press enter. And you'll see now that when I type in list, we have new commands. We have VHP balancer, VHP burn, and several others. I'm also going to register the proof of burn smart contract. So I'll paste that in here as well. And now we're going to get the commands for POB and VHP. So if I type in list, you'll see here that I've got some POB commands. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and I've got several VHP commands. So this is the part where I need to now register my mining node with the wallet that contains these tokens. The way I'm going to do that by Windows is going to my C drive. I go to my Koinos directory here, and if I go to my block producer, you'll notice that there are now public and private key files. The block producer has its own address, it has its own private key and its own public key that's separate from the wallet that contains tokens. The reason why this is done is because if the computer that's mining is compromised, then the keys inside its own block producer microservice, it won't allow the hackers to actually get access to the VHP or coin tokens in the wallet that's supplying the miner. And so those tokens that are burnt are living in one wallet while the block producer has its own separate identity. So the command that we want to use to register is the POB register public key command. So let's type that in, POB dot, and we'll see here we can auto complete it at the number 4. If we press enter, it says that the usage of this requires you to type in POB register public key and then enter the producer address and the public key. The producer address is the address in which your tokens are sourced. So it's going to be the address that I opened up inside of this Koinos CLI wallet. If you watched my other video, you would have known what address that is, but if you don't know it, you can recall it by typing the word address here, and it's the 16KX3Z address. I can just copy that right here. And what I would need to do with this is input this address into the Koinos miner. And the way I do it is by going back to the Koinos directory, going into the config.yaml file, open this with text, with Notepad. And you see this producer field right here. All I have to do is delete the hash and then paste in the address. Now again, this is the address in which my coin is being held in. I'll Control S or save that guy and I'll close it. The next thing I have to do is register the public key of the miner with the producer address that contains my coin tokens. So this 16KX3Z is the address for the wallet that I have open that contains 90 coin tokens. So that's going to be the producer address. The public key address is the public key of my miner. And the place I get that is inside the block producer folder inside public. This is the key that you need. So I'll copy this guy. So I need to register this key with this address. The way I do that is I go back in here, I type in pob.register, auto-complete that, and I need to put in the producer address first, which is the address of the wallet that I have open, 16KX3Z, and then I have to press space and then open up the public key, copy in this one, and then paste it in here. And press enter. There we go. Calling POB, arguments producer, transaction ID, and if I go into Koinos Explorer, I should technically be able to find that ID popping up. So it should end in C150. Oh, I don't always see these guys, so let's try the other one. It's C7833. C7833 right here. If I click on this one, ends in C15, C15, operations, entry point, POB register public key, impacted, this is my wallet address. So you can see all these transactions happen in the Koinos Explorer. Even though our node is registered, we still have to wait for a node to sync up, which would take a little bit more time. Let's see where we are right now. We're at block 276000, and Koinos Explorer says we're at 285. So we still have a little bit to go, and we'll come back here once the node is synced up. Looks like our node is synced up. We're now at block 2855580. We're at 2855589. Okay, so we're basically caught up. We made some adjustments before where we registered the block producing node with the wallet that contains the coin that we're going to burn. So it hasn't recognized that yet, so we're going to shut down this node and then we're going to restart it and see what happens. There's multiple ways to shut down this node. So the way we're going to try doing it first is go into Docker, and you'll see that we have the Koinos v4 container. We'll open this guy up and then we're just going to click stop, and we'll stop all the instances. All right, slowly exiting. Nodes are closing down, so these green boxes are turning gray. right, last one to shut down is AMQP. All right, so they're all exited. We're back into the directory. That's not the only way you can shut it down. You can also shut it down by running another instance of PowerShell and then cding into the directory with the Docker file, which is Koinos v4 for us, and then type in docker compose profile all down. That's the other way you can do it. All right, so now we can try firing up the node again, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, what we're doing now is we're starting up the node again. We have to do a little bit of syncing because we're a bit behind. Let's see where we are right now. We're at 285.657, and here 285.658. Okay, so we're synced up again, and we're seeing here that we're getting this error, failed querying chain, expected VH balance greater than 0. So that's because our wallet that contains T-Coin doesn't have any VHP because we haven't burned any coin yet. So what we're gonna do right now is that we're going to leave this node running, and then we're gonna go into the CLI and we're gonna burn some coin. So how do we do that? All we have to do is call the POB contract in our wallet and type in pob.burn. Press enter and it'll give you the usage. We have to type in POB burn, the token amount, the burn address, and the VHP address. For us, the burn address is going to be the wallet that contains the coin token, and the VHP address is going to be the address that receives the VHP token. For us, it's going to be the exact same address. So let's get the address for our wallet again. Let's copy this guy. So we're gonna type in pob.burn. We have 90 tokens, but we need to consume some mana in order to burn that token. So it can't burn all 90 of them. Instead, we're going to burn 89 tokens, and this is my burn address. This is the wallet that contains tokens I'm going to burn, and then the VHP address is going to be the address that I'm going to deposit those VHP tokens into. Want to type in enter. Okay, we've got a transaction ID right here ending in E6F, and we're going to take a look at the block explorer again to make sure it's confirmed. Okay, so we got this 1220E8. 1220E8 doesn't show up yet. Refresh. Here we go, 1220E8, operations, events. Okay, we called coin.burn and we got a response of vhp.mint. So if I go back to my CLI wallet, if I type in VHP balance of, I get the usage that I have to put in the owner address. So I can type in VHP balance of, paste in my address, and I should be able to get the VHP balance. Okay, 89. So we go back into our node, you'll notice that we are, okay. So there's a little bit something wrong here. When you use a CLI wallet, you have to burn in units of Satoshis. So when I typed in 89 before, it actually typed in 89 Satoshis worth of tokens. So if I go back to my balance, you'll notice I have 90 minus 89 Satoshis. Let's go back to my faucet. I'm gonna get some more tokens from the faucet. So let's go here. Let's go to the faucet down here and type in faucet, paste in my address. I have 100 T-Coin. I'm just getting some more coin to play with here. Balance, oops, balance. I have 189 T-Coin. So I'm gonna burn 189 T-Coin and get 189 VHP. The remaining 0.9999 balance of T-Coin will be enough mana for me to run the burn command. So let's go back to pob.burn and I have to type in, okay, pob.burn, the token amount I want to burn is 189, and then I'm going to add 8 zeros to it so I can burn whole units of coin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put the burn address in, which is the wallet that it's open, or the wallet that's containing the T-Coin, and then the wallet where the VHP tokens are going to go. All right, let's take a look at this transaction again, make sure it confirms. We have a transaction ID of 1220 ABA. All right, so here we have the ABA transaction. If I go to events, burned, VHP mint, and if I type in VHP.balance of, put in my wallet address, I should have 189. There we go, 189 VHP. This is units of Satoshis. So I go back to my block producer. So here you'll notice that there are 3 items here. It's called the difficulty target, the estimated total VHP producing, and producing width. The last two are the ones we're most concerned about. For the estimating total VHP, we see there's about 10.37 million VHP producing, and we are producing with 189 VHP. Overall, it would be very difficult for us to produce blocks with just 189 VHP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some VHP into this account, and it will help produce blocks so you can see what's going on inside the block producer. What I'm doing right now is moving VHP tokens from one of my other wallets to show you how the blocks are actually being produced and how it takes away VHP. So I'm going to move over 1.9 million tokens. All right, let's go back to our wallet here and we'll check the balance. So connect https api.koinos.io. Then I'm going to open up my test wallet with my password. And then I'm going to check my balance. All right, 21 T coin, but I really want to know is how much VHP I have. Because in my other wallet, I've already burned all of that T coin into VHP, and I'm allowed to move VHP around because it itself is just another token. So I'm going to do balance of, each time you open up one of these wallets, you have to re-register the smart contract you want to interact with. So we're trying to interact with the VHP smart contract, so we have to type in register VHP and the smart contract address again. This gives us the VHP option again, so we're typing VHP balance of, and what I want is to get the balance of this wallet, which is the 16KX3Z wallet. You notice now that we have over 1.9 million coin, which represents a little bit close to 20% of the entire network's VHP, the test network's VHP. We are now producing with 1.9 million VHP rather than the 189 VHP we had before. So if I take a look at my balance, you'll notice that my T coin is now changed. Before I had 21 T coin, now I'm having 48 T coin. Because I have such a large position against how much VHP is actually producing the entire node, I'm producing quite a few blocks, which allows me to turn and convert my T coin or my VHP back into T coin pretty often. So here we have the producer 16KXZ, and I produce block 285935. If I keep on taking a look at the balance, you see that I've been on 4863 T coin now, which means I produced another block. If I refresh this, I should see that as well. By calling the balance command multiple times over a short period of time, we see that our T coin balance is going from 48, 63 to 72. And what's happening is that each time we produce a block, we're giving the network back VHP and we're getting T coin back. And that's the process of converting VHP tokens back into T coin. Now, that conversion is a one-to-one process, but in addition to that one-to-one process, we're also awarded with brand new T coin in this system. And that's going to be the reward that you get for producing blocks. Let's see if we can refresh this guy and see if our block producer is producing blocks. Here's our 16KX address. We also produce block 285988. So you learn how to run a Koinos Mining Node by downloading the files from GitHub, configuring your node, and then syncing up with the blockchain. And then you also learn how to interact with the Koinos CLI wallet to register the VHP and the proof of burn contract so that you can take coin, burn it into VHP tokens, and then register your mining node with the wallet that contains your VHP. So that's all you need to do to become a block producer. If you run into any trouble, feel free to join the Koinos Discord and throw your questions up on the testnet discussion forum. But feel free to ask any questions, and hopefully you had fun in this video creating and running a Koinos node.